Mais c'est Chablis. Salut Chablis. Là, ça sniffe en tabarouette. Bourbon.
Salut raton.
Non. Non.
partir du mois d'août 2022, il a décidé d'arrêter de déliter les phases.
Fait un bout.
Il y a un peu plus qu'un an.
Hey, Mikey! I missed you last week. I was in the hospital. Oh. Well, I'm glad you're home. But yeah, I wasn't able to stream last week. So you didn't miss much. Very, very, very tiny consolation prize. Tu fais picot. Now I'm home and glad to be. Yeah, that's great. I hope you end up staying longer this time. Do you have any plans for the weekend now that you're home? I shopped late at night one night at the hospital, and I came home to 2 different palettes and a set of 18 whole body paint. Ooh, that sounds lovely. That's a good a good haul in a way to keep you busy. Is it your first time trying out whole bind paints? They're really, really nice. I'm working on a sort of lap blanket made from pre-cut squares to keep things really simple because I have to iron out my other projects and I just haven't really taken the time to do it yet. I think part of me is waiting until I have more than just one thing to iron out so that I don't set it all up just for one thing. Also have a hot chocolate. Boop. Yes, it's my first experience with Holbein. Ooh, I hope you like them. I find them to be really reliable paints, especially in a palette because they don't dry too hard, they don't run all over the place, they are super easy to re-wet all the time, and just, you know, beautiful colors. And it's not because it's more of an illustration brand in a way that they have less like interesting colors. They have granulating colors, they have, you know, all sorts of really fun colors. So I hope you like them. Did you get a tube of a set of tubes from Holbein or a set of pans? Because I think they have both. But the pans might be a bit harder to find. And oddly enough, it's not quite the same color range in the pans than you get from the tube. I just realized my Your phone is giving you a hard time. Hey, Charlotte! Hello. It said there would not be. It was last time, last Saturday, and then I switched it out to say that they. Hold on. So last Saturday I couldn't stream. So what I do when I can't stream is I still prepare a stream event so you guys can see that there won't be a stream, but I schedule it for this week, like the week after. So yeah, so last week I made the event for today, and maybe I was a bit late in switching out the title, but yeah, I switched out the title. I haven't really figured out a good way to do that though, so that's on me. How are you? How are you? Yeah. That's a really oddly hard sentence to say. How's your weekend so far? Any plans? Relaxing, cold outside, no plans. That sounds good. No plans is a good plan. It is cold outside here too, but sunny too. Let me try to paint a bit and put together a palette. Ooh! What makes you want to put together a new palette of sorts? Another palette? What would be special about that one? I have several, but two Winsor Newton have odd selection of colors, so I will pick the best from them. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, Winsor Newton have Winsor Newton. Oh, White Knight. That's White Knights, I think. Okay, two White Knights. With the situation with Ukraine and Russia, a lot of stores have dropped keeping Winsor Newton, so it's been a bit difficult to. Oh, Winsor Newton. Oh, okay. Yeah, Winsor Newton have really like the kind of the opposite of intriguing color selections. There's always like big gaps in the versatility of their palettes because they stick to the classic colors so much. Like black, white, alizarin crimson, Windsor red, or then you have like two yellows that are often really similar, and then two blues, often Prussian blue and ultramarine blue, which is, you know, not terrible, but not the most versatile either. And then their permanent sap green, yellow ochre, burnt sienna. Oh, they often have phthalo green, right? There are 12 black boxes awful. I don't think I've seen that one. What's in it? And it's not like they don't have really interesting colors in their range. Like, they do. They have a magenta color. They have cyan colors that could easily bring so much more to a palette. And yeah, sometimes if you are lucky, you might have dioxazine purple in their palette. I think they call it Windsor Violet, which is, you know, okay, I'll take it. But it's always the most like it's beyond bland in terms of color selection. The white is utterly useless. It bothers because they always put Chinese white in there. Like, oh yay, thank you. The transparent white for watercolor, super useful. Love it. Their black can be useful, so I'm not gonna, you know, that one so much, but they have gorgeous colors in their palette and their range, and you almost never have them in palettes. Lemon yellow, alizarin crimson, raw sienna. Oh yeah, raw sienna. That's the one I forgot. Yeah. The raw sienna and yellow ochre are basically the same, except that the raw sienna is more splotchy. Yay. Whoop-de-doo. Bothers me so much. Like, oh my god, give me permanent rose. Please, give me a magenta. They have a beautiful manganese blue hue, I think. That's a lovely cyan. And you never get that in a palette. Never. You have to get it yourself and switch out the colors. But I mean, if someone is a beginner and they're getting a Winsor & Newton palette, because you know that's a brand that almost all the art supply stores will have. So you don't really know, you see a cute palette, you're like, I'm gonna get that one. And then you're like, why can't I mix pink? Why can't I mix like a cyan color? They have defined a basic collections. Oops. Oh, I really hate that stupid heart. They have defined a basic collection, but never in their palette. Yeah, I mean, their Perline Maroon is beautiful. Their green gold is also like such a pretty color. They have a beautiful granulating yellow that I'm pretty sure like a lot of people don't even know that Winsor & Newton has that. Like they do. They have beautiful colors. But their palettes, especially the 12 colors palette, are always the same stupid lineup. And I hate it so much. They had really beautiful colors in the few limited edition release that they had years ago, and they've brought back quite a few of those, but not all of them, and I'm kind of bothered by that, because I'm like, each of these colors was really unique and beautiful. Like the chromium black was really interesting. It was a black, but a really warm black that's not flat at all, and I don't think they brought that one back. I'm just like, nah. Sorry about that. Some things got under my outboard. Oh, I literally had to try to pry the damn thing off my phone to work again. Whoa, I am sans protection. I just realized I've played with Holbein before, but only with their opera. Ooh, well, if you have to play with one color from Holbein, opera is a really good pick, actually. It's so bright and lovely. I love opera. Opera makes beautiful mixes. Like, you can get some really stunning oranges and purples mixing with opera. Also a fun color for underpainting if you do underpainting. Catman palettes have... That's true. They're the 14 color palettes from... Though I hate that particular palette. They have something really good with their pocket palette. The 12 colors Catman one. That thing is really, really well made. It's a good design. It's indestructible. It's tiny. It's, you know, it's a good travel palette. But yeah, the 14 colors in the Catman palette, you have a dioxazine purple and like a phthalo blue in there, I think. And I don't remember what was the rest of the lineup, but it was like oddly good. Yes, I miss Chromium Black. Yeah, I don't miss it, but that's only because I stocked up on it when, I don't know if you remember, but years ago, Jackson's had a an offer that if you bought, I don't remember what, the freebie was one of those colors, and they had a bunch of Chromium Black left because I guess no one wanted it. So I stocked up. I must have like 4 or 5 tubes. It's such a beautiful color. But yeah, things that things that Winsor Newton could do that would be really, really fun, you know, for the painter, is to, if they would sell their half pans empty, so that we could put paints and use the bucket palette. Like, you're almost stuck having to buy Cutman sets on sale when possible, just so you can yeet off the Cutman paints and keep the pans if you want to put your own colors in there. And also they need to drop the stupid notion that their tube paint is not to be poured somewhere to dry. Like, that's just, I mean, it's watercolor paint. Stop BSing. All watercolor paints you can pour somewhere and let dry. I have a friend whose family does estate sales and he collects anything watercolor for me. Oh, that's lovely. Everyone, and I do mean everyone, had that a set of Cutman, and now I have them. That's lovely, because you get older Cutman paints, and like from the few vintage tubes of Cutman that I was able to collect, the ones had like the same pigments that you would find in the professional paints. Like their Viridian had the Viridian pigment in it, like PG18 in the Cutman Viridian paint, and the cadmiums had the cadmiums too, and like the colors back then were less full of fillers, because I just don't think people like were in a situation where filler were an option. Like, I guess the pigments were possibly more affordable or something. They have said their tube paints are not for filling. Yeah, whatever. That's they need to drop that. They really, really do. That's terrible. Terrible, terrible marketing. Like, seriously, just don't. I'd be offended. Like, if a Winsor Newton rep told me that, I'd look at him like he grew I don't know, I'd just be so offended, because it's like, who do you think you are? And didn't you get the part where I said that I paint? Like, the moment you try out paint, you figure it out. Oh, I just hate that selling point. It's so stupid. Besides, some of their pans re-wet much less well than the tube paint. I can sort of see it a bit more for a company like Sennelier, where you have some tube paints that will never ever dry, but you can also buy them in half pans or full pans. And if they tell me like, oh, we have a different formula, I'm gonna believe it, because one is extruded paint and the other is liquid runny paint that never dries. But even Sennelier doesn't say like, oh, please don't put our tube paints in pans, ooh, not for filling, ooh. You're like, no, they don't say anything. If anything, I mean, I wish they would at least put a warning. If you pour this paint in a pan, be careful not to tip the pan, because the paint will go everywhere, you know? That makes sense. Winsor Newton doesn't make sense. And I mean, no one has to be like Daniel Smith and just put out a bajillion paints or whatever, but yeah, Winsor Newton could benefit from trying to keep making some special limited edition releases every once in a while. That was really interesting. nothing to do with paint, but our other obsession, food. Someone. My mom just brought me in scallops and 2 pastries. I think. Hold on, scallops? That's a seafood, right? No, I've never heard that any company says. Yeah, even the companies that you obviously can see that they don't use the same formula in this anyway. And then you have the absolute opposite. You have Schminke that says like, oh yeah, our pans are basically our tube paint. Uh-huh. Winsor & Newton. Great. Pastries are amazing. There's a very patient kitty staring at me. I feel sorry for the poor guy. He's like, can I please have some snacks? And like, we're busy, we can't really get up and give him snacks. And he's like, please, I'm super cute. I'm like, I know. He's outside too. I'm like, kitty, it's cold. Just go home. He's like, no, I want snacks. So where is everyone is today? Black Week. I don't even know. Oh, he's attacking his tail. That was so funny. Yo. Et Chablis s'est couru après la queue. C'était fucking drôle. Espèce de gros tweet. Oh, il est beau. Well, I know that Otto won't be able to make the streams for a bit. Maybe other people saw the notice about last week's streams and also thought that it was today. Or, like you say, maybe some Black Week shopping. I might take a few minutes break just so I can feed that little guy outside. He's being a really cute and good boy. And I feel sorry for him because he's such a good little guy. Alright, so I'll be just a couple of minutes. Be right back. drôle de boîte dehors.
Pardon?
Il y a une drôle de boîte.
Ah. C'est quoi la boîte?
Des fonds de basile.
Ok.
Apologies for taking a bit longer. There was a mystery box outside. Mikey, how many Cutman palettes do you have? I've got the little plastic with the blue travel kit. I've got a bigger one of the same exact configuration, so like a mama and a baby. Oh. And then I've got maybe 8 boxes of Cutman paint in tubes. That's really cool. Sorry. Alright, so that strip is finished. I have one other strip to do. I'm so sorry. Alex has offered to come down to visit me from Boston to New Jersey in order to facilitate getting some paints into other people's hands. But my health has not cooperated. That sounds like a lovely project. Oh my god, if that happens, you guys have to share like some of your adventures. The Mikey and Ginger adventures, that would be epic. Would be great if it was like easier to travel for all of us, or like to teleport or something, so that we could, you know, have really fun get together and share paint and have painting parties and whatnot. I kind of wish the Discord was a bit more like that, but I don't really know how to make that happen. So Boston to New Jersey, how long of a drive is that supposed to be? I'm having such a hard time placing these two together. What's up with that? We need the way the teleporters from Star Trek. That would be great. I'm sorry, but I have to leave for today. Oh, well, thank you so much for stopping by, Charlotte. I hope you have a great weekend. And have fun painting. It's at least a 5-hour drive. Ooh, if not more. I don't know about Epic. I'm bedbound for the last few months, but I wish really worked my butt off to be in a wheelchair for Ginger. I mean, it would just being able to be in the same room and to talk and to have fun together, like, to me that's epic. It doesn't have to be about doing the most extravagant of activities. It's just about spending good time with people that you know, you don't often have the occasion of seeing. Like, Epic for an introvert is much more tame. It's like, whoa, you saw someone! Epic! Sorry, you're stuck with a little old me, but I'm sure I'm glad to be. Oh, don't say that. Didn't get home until 12:30 last night. Ay. Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't believe that. I wish it wasn't so, but yeah. Well, you're home now. That's good. Yay. Home sweet home. Oh my gosh. They had me waiting from 2 p.m. all the way until 11:30. Why? Why? Like, you would think it would be to their advantage to get you home ASAP so that they can, mark that as done and then do all the other stuff that they have to do, Instead of always having to, keep on the list that there's a patient that needs an ambulance to go home. Ay, ay. So far in my local hospital that I go to all the time, I've been there for COVID when they were hacked, and now last night there was a blackout. Interesting times. Oh my gosh, what? A blackout. Well, I hope the hospital had a generator or something. It's a hospital. They need multiple generators. And I mean, that's also in North America where we have it, relatively easy. Blackout makes me think of the hospital in Gaza, and that's just another level of living in interesting times. The generator only powered certain things. There was no lights in any patient rooms or television. Everyone was kind of freaked out. Wait, yeah, I can see that. They need like emergency stock of hot chocolate for those occasions. If only to, improve everyone's mood. But also have it feel like, nicer. But yeah, you need the power to, like, for incubators and all the machinery, like, that keeps people alive. It's definitely the priority, except my roommate who needed to use the bedpan twice. Ugh. And they cleaned her up using their phone light. Just unbelievable. Yeah, that's... Yeah, that definitely could use some improvement. At least have a portable light station or something, Something so that the staff can see when they have to do tasks while there's no power. Ay, ay. You need a stock of those lights with the big elastic around that you can have on your forehead, so that your hands are free and you can see what you're doing. Figured that would be handy for nurses. But yeah, I know that a lot of hospitals just don't have the budget. That's another issue, though. You must be glad to be within reach of your own bathroom too. I feel like that's always that's an improvement to any situation, in my opinion. I've never really seen any kind of public or work bathroom or hospital bathroom, for that matter, where you are not glad to be home in your own thing. The last time we had a blackout here was last winter, I think. There was a day where it rained, but it was cold enough that the rain became sleet, and that's always problematic here because it weighs down the trees and the power lines, and that often leads to some breakage and then blackouts. But it always makes for such an eerie look to everything too. Like a glow stick headlamp type work. Yeah, at least, I mean, glow sticks, they're, you know, they're somewhat shelf stable and they're replaceable. They don't need batteries. That could be a thing. It's a headlamp. It's called a headlamp. There you go. Thank you, brain. Have one of these for when we would like go biking in the fall and it's dark much earlier. But it's also handy in the winter just for walking, because for some obscure reason they decided to change all the street lamps to a different type of street lamp that is a lot less bright than they used to be. So basically, whenever you walk outside in the winter, you don't see anything. Not the best, not ideal. So yeah, the headlamps is always handy because you don't have to hold it. It's attached to your head, so. I see people walk their dogs with one too. It's not a place for it, but I do have some funny stories I could regale you with. That'd be funny. I don't know what would be a place for it though, because I don't know what kind of stories you have, but a really big sleet or ice storm was I'm trying to think, but I think it's still the biggest natural disaster we had here. It was back in the 90s though, so it's been a while, but yeah, it was really, really, ow, oh, it really stabbed me good. Oh my god, ow. But yeah, in the 90s, like we had a big ice storm, and it messed up the power lines so bad that people were out of power for like weeks, and it was cold. It was the middle of winter, so you can't really stay at your place in the middle of winter without any heating. And like the layer of ice was stupid thick. I was living in a different city and we were sort of spared, but yeah, some areas of the province were really, really messed up for a long time. People ate a lot of fondue because you can use the gel or the liquid to heat it up, and you don't really need power. And I think the gel being what it is, it doesn't freeze either. But yeah, a lot of people had to spend time in gymnasiums, and it was not the best. Otherwise, we are kind of lucky. Not too many natural disasters. You know, I was just sitting here thinking about the weddings that I've been... Ooh! Your color scheme of today reminds me that it's navy and the new mother of the bride. Hold on. I'm gonna wait until hopefully that I really, really hate that feature of the YouTube chat because it eats up it eats up a bit of chat, and I'm like, I can't read under the freaking heart. Come on, YouTube, put it elsewhere. I don't know, do something. Do you end up watching a lot of reality TV while being in the hospital, Mikey? Because I figure that's gonna always be on TV somewhere, and kind of really brainless stuff that you can, watch with half awareness. All right, your color scheme of today reminds me that it's navy and the new mother of the bride, mother of the groom color. I remember that I had surgery and had to drive 5.5 hours over pitted ice. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, you probably got some of it too, being in New Jersey. Like, you're not very far from me. It was terrible. I mean, where I lived, the city where I was living at the time, we still had the storm, but there were very limited consequences because we got, less, the layer of ice ended up being thinner, so less breakage and everything, and it was a bit more like of a dense city, so if something broke, it was easily fixed because it was easy to access. The issue they ran into, if I remember right, is that whenever something would break in the more like the less dense areas of the province, well, sometimes they could not access the place where the power lines broke because it was in the middle of nowhere, and that took extra time to go fix because you kind of have to figure out how to get there first, and then you have to figure out how to fix it. And then you have to, you know, what do you bring to fix it in the middle of nowhere? Whereas if it's in more like a city, you can communicate much more efficiently and have access to a lot more materials that you could need, like super easily. You could see cars that had been completely smashed by ice falling on them, or like just trees falling on them too. Having to drive in an ice storm though. I mean, I keep thinking about that. I'm like, first of all, you can't go fast, and then you gotta be always on edge. Like, that's terrible. Sorry. The whole Northeast was just knocked on its butt. Yeah, definitely. Literally. It slid on the ice and fell on its butt. Have you always lived in New Jersey, Mikey? There's one sort of natural disaster that I wonder if we'll see more of it as the years go by. And you know, I live on the island of Montreal. It's an island. It's surrounded by water, and I feel like in the spring when the snow thaws, I feel like the water level was really surprisingly high last year. So I wonder if that's a trend, and if it will keep going that way. Like, we would go to the park and you would see some trees would have like a good chunk of their trunk at the base be underwater, like a good 3 feet. And I was like, I mean, if the tree was able to grow there, it means that it probably doesn't get, you know, covered in water like that too regularly, because it would drown. And part of me really wonders if that's a trend that we'll see, like next year is going to be even higher. But I'm going to... Oh, hey, no problem, Mikey. I hope you can have a good nap. And have a good weekend. Enjoy being home. And hey, Paulo. How are you? How's your weekend? It's pretty chill, quiet stream today. What have you been cooking this week, Paulo? Literally. Oh, it has been quiet. Just made some cheesecakes. Multiple cheesecakes. What flavor? I have been perfecting my cheesecake recipe. Ooh. So what's the qualities you're looking for in a cheesecake? Right back in descaling confirmation. Ooh. I made individual cheesecakes. Wow. Multiple flavors? That's really fancy. Caramelized white chocolate with raspberry. Wow. Dang. Okay, that's extra fancy. Trying to get the cooking time just right. Oh, see. Yeah. Be right back. And I also might make some naan bread tomorrow for lunch. I also have been making them and trying to improve them, but now I make them because it just like naan. Fresh naan is such a fun texture. I make dessert. Oh, sorry. Where did I pick up dessert in there? My chat is really, really tiny. Sometimes the words just, meld together and become other words. Alright, so I've never really been much of a fan of cheesecake. So I've never really made any. But I knew people who really loved them, and I saw them make cheesecake, and they would often use like what we here in North America call cream cheese, which is, the Philadelphia stuff, which is a, not pure cream cheese, I would say. So I was wondering, as someone who is more familiar with, nice ingredients, what kind of cheese do you use to make your cheesecakes? All that to say. Yeah, you use Philadelphia. You get that there too. Really? Really? No way. Because the recipe are all calibrated to use Philadelphia. Oh, that's so weird. Whoa. So did the craft company kind of came up with the cheesecake to sell Philadelphia? Is it a conspiracy? Sometimes I might use cork. I don't know if you have that over there. That rings a bell. I'm not sure we have it, but I think I know what it is. Wow, right. So there's like a cream cheese monopoly with Philadelphia all over the world. I was hoping you guys were spared the likes of Philadelphia and like Cheese Whiz and all that nonsense, but apparently not. That's fascinating. I have many recipe books that are that I got from my mom. They're little booklets, actually, not real books, but they would be like promotional items that the companies would send to customers, or that you could grab at the grocery store during the holidays. And they would often feature a bunch of recipes using a specific brand or a few specific ingredients. For example, like the Robin Hood flour would release a small, Robin Hood baking cookbook where everything would be made using Robin Hood flour. But there would be cookies, cakes, all that. And there was one for baker's chocolate, and I think I got one for Fry's cocoa, the cacao, the powder. You can make it using ricotta or similar cheese. Oh my god, I'm not gonna try to say that. I don't want to butcher it, but you have to fudge the recipe. I have been making the cookies for the base, and I just love it. Instead of what? You just bake cookies, then you smash them up and you make the base. But yeah, so I wonder if the cheesecake recipe with the Philadelphia came in one of those little promotional booklets from Kraft. Because Fry's Cocoa, I think, is Kraft. Philadelphia is also Kraft, I think. So maybe they had like a bunch of various recipes all together in one of those little booklets. Like recipes for fudge too and all that. Oh man. The holiday baking season / spirit is really creeping in, isn't it? I kind of want to bake stuff. I think food would probably be more of a hobby for me if I could eat the stuff I make without any guilt and consequences, But that's not the case, so I have to put a stop on baking stuff because I don't. What's the point of baking stuff if you can't can't eat it? You know. Like, I'd love to bake a plate of cookies, but or all kinds of cakes and breads and oh man, baked goods. I'd experiment a lot more with trying to substitute dairy in recipes too, but the thing is whatever I do, I have to eat. I can't even bring it to work because that's not a thing. Over here, cream cheese is a really new thing. Really? Huh. I mean, we've had the Philadelphia thing around forever. I remember seeing at the grocery store one day some, you know, like fresh cream cheese that is made from a, like a somewhat local dairy farm. And it was a really different texture. It was a bit closer to like perhaps kind of a mix between thick yogurt and cream cheese in terms of consistency, and like the tartness of cream cheese, but without the sort of plastic feeling of Philadelphia. It only appeared like 15 years ago, I think, and Philadelphia was the one we saw. Huh, interesting. Yeah, it was possibly a bit more crumbly, but at the same time it was very wet because it's one of those like spreadable cheese, so it's kind of very wet. But it had that more crumbly feeling. It was delicious, mind you, and I would totally eat it again if I could, but instead I found a vegan cream cheese. And it's made from cashews and it's fermented, so it's really delicious. It's especially on bagels. Yummy stuff. So to be fair, I put it on everything so far. I've put it on pizza, pasta, chili, bagels, and sandwiches. Cashews are awesome, I agree. They're delicious. I wonder if it's more similar to ricotta. Yeah, I think it's the cream cheese was closer to ricotta, but more tart and less crumbly a bit. If I remember right, it's been a while. I think I might have become... Oh no! 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 I hope that's not the case. I hope that's something else that will resolve on its own. Oh. Well, I mean, mind you, if it's a lactose issue, you still have a lot of options of lactose-free dairy products. And a lot of the, like the older cheeses and everything that's not so fresh is often much lower in lactose, so you might still be able to, you know, get some fancy Parmesan or whatnot, but ugh. But I'm thinking about taking lactase, the enzymes that brings down lactose. It's a very common thing. Because, you know, I am getting old. Well, you and me both. I had to like say goodbye to dairy much earlier. But yeah. Just us, just a bunch of old peeps. I just said that I did not take it well. I was really mad. Understandable. Like, I can totally get it. Like, to be have it. Sorry. To have an issue with the food item when you like cooking and eating stuff. I drank milk every morning and lately have been having cramps and nausea. Do you have a lactose-free milk over there? Because you could try that for like a while, see if it helps. And my family only drinks vegetable milk. What kind of milk do they like? Do they enjoy like oat milk? Oat milk has been really, really yummy. Also like that for something like oat milk. It has a very minimal footprint in terms of like producing it, because I mean oats are not like that hard to produce, and the processing of the oat to make milk is really, really simple. You just soak it, blend it, what's the word I'm looking for? Strain it, and ta-da! Oat milk, whee! My daughter drinks a lot of stuff, but she is really picky about the brand. I think she drinks oat and almond. Good. My issue with almond milk is twofold. First of all, for us here in North America, the way it is produced is problematic because it's a crop that requires a lot of water, and it grows like in California, a place that is known for its droughts. So you can kind of see the problem here. And also, I really don't like the taste of the almond milk we have here when it's warm. And in baking, it's just awful. I don't know what happens, but it just doesn't taste good at all. And I asked my friends who also have tried it, and they're like, nope, it's in hot beverages, it's terrible. In baking, it's also terrible. I kind of like soy milk, but soy milk will kind of curdle a bit in stuff like coffee because it's too acidic. We grow a lot of soy here in Canada, so it's kind of local and all that, so it's not terrible, but yeah. And also it has proteins in it, which is, you know, kind of good. But yeah, I take a lot of oat milk. We can get a vanilla unsweetened oat milk, and it's very delicious. She tried the brown rice and I hated it. Yeah, brown rice was really weird. I tried it too, and it just wouldn't stay homogenized. It separated. It was really gross. I really think if I'm intolerant, I'm going... Yeah, definitely try either the lactose-free options or having lactase. Because if that's the issue and it can be solved that way, that's definitely like a good thing. And that way you can also still enjoy the stuff you like. But I mean, it could be that you got a bad batch of milk too. Like maybe not necessarily contaminated with something terrible, but there could be something in that specific carton of milk that gave you issue, and that would resolve with a different batch. I really hope for you that it's that simple, even if unpleasant. I remember when I started having issues that I couldn't really pinpoint, I tried all sorts of things. I tried goat yogurt, I tried lactose-free stuff, I tried a bunch of things and nothing really worked, except not having dairy anymore. But yeah, that was not exactly the same symptoms. This week I made my morning oat. Is that at the same time that you got the nausea and cramps? Because, I mean, plums will wreck you. Plums are something else. Like, they would give me cramps if I took plum juice. The fruit is less, like, intense, so that's a bit better, but the juice, oh my gosh. Okay, phew. Because woo, hey, plum juice, that will clean you up. You're having issues? Drink a glass of plum juice. You'll be fine. You'll be, you know. I soak the oats in juice till the morning. Oh, so like an overnight thing. Sorry. Plums are delicious. Like the fruit itself, they're really yummy. I remember once I had a bunch of fruits that were, getting soft and were a bit on their way out, but not quite like ruined yet. So what I did is I made applesauce with plums in it, and it was surprisingly delicious. I would recommend it. You just peel and cook apples, and I don't think I peeled the plums. I just cut up the plums and cook it with the apples, and when everything was really soft, I just blended it together, and it was really fragrant and delicious. Have you seen the dinosaur plums? They're really, really cool. They're like, the flesh inside is really like red pink, but the skin outside is a mottled green, like a bit like a Granny Smith apple. But it kind of looks like a dinosaur egg because the skin is somewhat transparent just a bit, so you kind of have the red flesh underneath and the green skin on the outside. Makes for a really interesting little plum, and it tastes amazing. But yeah, plum applesauce, that was surprisingly delicious. We have a lot of varieties, and my favorite ones are the ones that are green, and they're so sweet. Like the green ones with the kind of yellow-green flesh in it. We get a lot of the ones that are like that, what we call plum color, the deep purple color. We get these a lot around here. I don't think I've seen the green ones as much. No, they are green all the way through. Ooh, I'll keep an eye out for that. Might be your purchase. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. It's true. But still, I'll keep an eye out for when I go to the grocery store, if I can spot them. My grandfather had a lot of plum trees on his property, but they were, you know, like the tiny plums. You have plums that are like a bit larger, but you can also have like those a bit like the ones they make umeboshi with, like the pickled plums, like teeny tiny plums. He had green ones and purple ones, I think, if I remember right. But that's that's a long time ago. And I remember the families getting together to help pick up the plums when it was time to harvest them. I don't remember what they did with it though. No, if you can send the link on the Discord, that might be easier. Maybe I should just enable links in the stream next time I set one up, because there's really it's a measure that's there to help with trolls, but it's not like there's a lot of trolls. Like we get one a year perhaps. Does the green plum have a name? Reina Claudia. Alright, Queen Claudia. Oh. Cool, thank you so much. I'll check that out. It's fascinating, like all the variants you can get from the orchard fruits, like apples and plums. All the cultivars of apple always fascinate me. I've been getting a lot of Cosmic Crisp apples. They're really delicious, though they're not always exactly the same, so it's kind of funny. And they are ripe when they are really green, which always turn people off. But then they try it because they're so sweet and have a nice flavor. People just love them. Oh, I really have to check that out. That's interesting. I feel like plums are a bit underrated in the sense that they're not the most fun to eat, personally. But the flavor, oh my gosh, the flavor is so good. And you hardly ever see stuff that is plum flavored. Apples are S-tier fruit, I agree. Though, I mean, the struggle with apples is finding a good one. There are so many cultivars of apple, and depending on the season, like from one week to the next, the apples that were good might become the mushy ones. I love to cook with them. Grilled plums. Ooh, grilled. Wow. What do you pair that with? I feel like plum tea would, like a green tea or flavored with plum or white tea. Like, wouldn't that be amazing? With a nice vanilla ice cream. With a bit of honey and syrup. Do you think grilled plums would also work well with like pork? grilled plum and prosciutto. Yum, yum, yum. Rosemary, honey. If you like it. Dude, that's really specific. I wonder how they manage to, unless you take regular honey and you just infuse some rosemary in there, but to get honey made uniquely from rosemary plants, you really have to have a big rosemary plantation. We have a recipe of pork tenderloins. Ooh. Oh yeah, and you have plum sauce for like some of the Asian dishes, like egg rolls. Most of the plum sauce that's in stores is not made with plums, unfortunately, but if you can find one that is made from plums, it's really delicious. I'm gonna end the stream being hungry. Do you have a, I guess you don't, but you know how the North America, how North America has like this Thanksgiving thing, which is a big meal. I guess that would be a bit like the New Year's Eve meal, possibly. Do you have like traditional stuff that you cook for New Year's? Like over here we have stuffed turkey and whatnot. I'm hungry. I have to write down that idea of grilled plums. I think that would be interesting, right? We also do turkey, baby goat, and octopus. Well, don't say sorry. I mean, it's it's not any worse than any kind of meat. Octopus is pretty original, though. Over here it's really like turkey and stuffing and potatoes. It kind of depends on where you live, but yeah, turkey is always a big thing. The typical one is salted cod for Xmas. Oh really? Wow. Huh. I think that you eat baby salmon. Yeah, I know. It's never a good morality moment. Same with, you know, speaking about lamb or veal. It's always a bit That's why we kind of try, like if something is good and it happens to be vegan, we try to keep it in mind. Like there's a thing that we found not too long ago. They make a similitude of smoked salmon with carrot slices. And I know it sounds silly just like that, but the way they prepare the carrots, they're sliced and they're I think marinated in something, and they have that smokiness. And it kind of works really well. Like we've tried it on bagels, I put it in sushi, and you know, it really works out well. So for that kind of purpose, like for sushi, I really don't see the point of buying actual fish, actual smoked salmon, because I feel like the carrots do the trick too, and it's about the same price anyway. But yeah, some things are easier to mentally process. Like eating fish doesn't feel that weird. And I know that people who like mussels and whatnot, these are like the most the kind of the animal products that you can eat that have a limited impact, like the most limited impact, stuff like that. Oh, that sounds awesome. I only eat veggie sushi. Yeah, I think you would like it. You could probably make it on your own, like you're crafty. But yeah, it's a really interesting products. Mind you, I feel, in my opinion, it's a bit overpriced considering it's carrots, okay? But it's a similar price point to fish, and I kind of prefer the carrots anyway. So, like when we decide to make sushi, we often end up getting that. Like that plus avocado and like a mango. That's amazing. That's delicious. You don't really need anything like extra in there. I only eat veggie sushi too because I just don't like handling fish, and I don't trust any place to sell me raw fish that is good for homemade sushi. Though at a restaurant I often take like fish sushi because I know that a restaurant has access to fresher stuff and they go through it much faster too. So I'll try to find the link and I'll send it in the Discord, like in the live stream after party. But yeah, it's really, really fun. I think at some point they also had a similar product, but that was cubes of carrots to be a bit like cube of fish, like you would find in a poke bowl. Not the Pokemon thing, but the meal. But they don't really offer that anymore. They just have the slices. I'm pretty sure, like, you're a crafty guy. You could definitely make it yourself. All you need is a mandolin slicer and carrots and like smoke extract. And I think it has canola oil in it and maybe a bit of vinegar. But I'm not sure. I'll find it. I'll find it and I'll send it to you. Alright, so I think I'm gonna end the stream. My voice is a bit shot. And it's at the usual closing time. But yeah, thank you so much for being here, Paulo. I really appreciate it. And everyone who was there before. It was a slow stream, but it was a lot of fun. It's always enjoyable to talk about food and whatnot, so it's always a good thing. But yeah, my voice needs Let me know if you tried the grilled plums with a pork thing. I'd be curious to know how that pans out. I missed this moment. Yeah, but I mean, I didn't stream last week. I was feeling really under the weather last week, so no stream. But I'll post it. Yes, please. I want to see the cheesecake. All right, so I hope you have a great weekend. Have fun with all the baking and the naan if you decide to make some. And see you, Apollo, in the next stream next week. And have a great week. Bye bye.